friends, this is Julie. Welcome. And today we're crafting an adorable money card holder with 6x6 paper. This one is one I made for my mom's birthday, and I used the Autumn Plaids paper as well as the sentiment is from Say It With birthday style stamp set. I'm also going to be pulling in a couple pieces of ephemera from those ridiculously cute sweet and playful turtles, as well as crafting with the lime green and the turquoise tealy paper prints from the paper pad. I'll be pulling in a little bit of white cardstock as well as a colored cardstock. This is a lightweight 65-pound weight so that it's easy to score without cracking. Then we're going to have a 7 3/8 by 6 3/4 inch panel, and then we're going to score on the 6 3/4 inch side at 1.5 inches and 4.5 inches, and then we'll rotate 90 degrees and score at 1/2 inch and rotate 180 degrees and rotate a 1/2 inch on the other end. So we have two 1/2 inch lines, and then we have our trifold. So I'm just going to burnish all of the lines in towards the center. So I'm starting with those 1/2 inch strips, and you want to make sure that those end up straight so that everything lines up. So you just want to give it a nice burnish on all of the score lines so that everything folds really smoothly. And once we have all of that folding done, then we need to remove part of the 1/2 inch strip. So we need to cut a miter cut at where the 1.5 inch and the 1/2 inch score line meets on both sides. So that's going to be the little tab that folds in so that we can glue our little holder for the money. And then to cut the rest, you could use scissors. I feel a little more confident with the paper trimmer. So I just fold in the tab, line up that crease where I want it to cut, and trim off that excess with the cutting blade. So that's the base of our money card holder. Those little tabs will fold in and create the little pocket for the money, and then you fold it over, and we're going to have a belly band closure. So I'm going to pull out my papers now, and I kind of want to use the teal and the lime green. So I'm going to use the darker teal side. So we're going to cut that down to 2 3/4 by 6 inches for that panel on the inside. That is where the other side is going to flip over onto it, and that's going to be our little tuck spot for our money or gift card or ephemera or whatever you want to put in there. And I just want to check to make sure that it has a pretty even border around there. You could actually use a smaller width of this. You still need the 6 inches for the length, but smaller because that pocket is going to kind of come over it and you don't need quite as much paper. So, but those measurements make it so that you can just butt it right up against that fold and have a perfect border. I like to round my corners. This is an optional thing. With a 65-pound weight cardstock, it's really easy to go through multiple layers. So I am just rounding the corners, and I'll match that with my pattern paper mats. I like these types of projects to last, so I'm using some score tape down the edges of all these matted layers, and then I also used a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm going to burnish it really well. For this next part, I'm going to grab some Scotch tape and put it, at this point it's sticky side up, but when we turn the pocket over to form the pocket, then it will be sticky side down, and that just helps to make sure that there's a smooth surface so things don't get caught when you tuck your money or gift cards or whatever in there. So I've put that tape in there, and now I'm just going to use some score tape and liquid adhesive again to put those together and fold the flaps in, and then create our little pocket. Next, I'm going to bring in the lime green paper, and I'm going to cut it to 1 1/4 inches by 6 inches for that flap on the money holder side. And I'm just going to round those quarters to match what I have on my cardstock, and I will do the same type of adhesive. First the score tape around the edges, and then a little liquid glue for permanence and also just to give you a little wiggle room to make sure that your lines all match up. And I am trying to use the other piece of paper as my guide to line it straight so that my mats are equal all the way around. So then for the front cover, we're going to have a 2 by 6 inch panel, and we're going to have the same 2 by 6 of white for the inside where we're going to write our message. And I've rounded the corners on those. And then I'm just going to glue that panel down to the front of the card. And then I'm just going to audition my focal point for the front of this card. I have some die cuts that I've already cut off camera, and I'm just going to layer those up and add a white surface for my sentiment in the center after I have those matted. And then I chose a sentiment from that Say It With birthday style stamp set, and I stamped that at the top because I wanted my ephemera to come down from the bottom of the little panel. So just finishing putting those on, I'm going to pop that little turtle. He's so cute with his little party hat. I'm going to pop him up. So now we're doing our belly band, and I wanted to use all 6x6 paper for my pattern paper. So we're going to do a little hack to make this fit because it's not quite going to fit. This is a 2 by 6 inch panel, and I am just kind of training the paper, like doing like really light folding of it around that base. We want it to be able to slide up and down easily. And then I took a 1 1/4 inch square of paper, just a scrap of paper, and I'm putting adhesive on just 2 sides, and then I'm going to glue that down to the yellow panel so that no glue is in that center area. And our focal point will hide it, and it'll just be our little secret that there's a little gap in there. Nobody will ever know. And so now when we glue down our focal point, we just want to make sure that our adhesive is in the center area so that it doesn't go over the little gaps that we have in our little belly band, so it doesn't stick to our card. And then we're just going to glue that down in the center, and we have a beautiful little belly band, and we can open it up and put our tuck our money or ephemera or whatever. And then next we're going to put down that white panel. This is where I'm going to have my greeting, and I chose a little piece of ephemera to put down there. Then I decided I wanted just a little bit of stamping, so I pulled out a little present from, I think it was like the Sweet Little Critters set. It's a really old one, and I'm stamping with some blue and green for a little row of presents down at the end just to add a little pizzazz. So that turtle is just so cute in a teacup. So ridiculously cute. Anyway, so I'm just gluing that down. And then I'm just going to add a few little sparkle enamel dots right there to the front to cover some of that white space and also bring in the yellow in that ephemera. I just really love the way this turned out. It's so cute. And now our sweet little money holder is officially complete. If you want to cover the back of the card holder as well, just cut another piece of paper to the same inside dimensions, 6 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out in my craft room today. If you enjoyed crafting with me, I'd absolutely love it if you hit the subscribe button, left a comment, and clicked the like button. It always puts a giant smile on my face. Have fun crafting, and I'll catch you on the next one.